Hey, everybody, welcome to Rise and Thrive Together, the first episode of 2024 on January 1st. And here I am with my sister, Raquel. How are you, sis? So good to see
Hello,
you.
hello. Happy New Year, everyone.
Awesome, awesome. Well, before we jump right into our first episode, and we've got a lot to discuss in these 30 minutes, I want to remind you about who we are. And we are Rise and Thrive Together, a vibrant community that is committed to educate, empower, and equip you to get the results that you want through real talks, real action, and real results. And how we go about to do this is right here live with you every single week at 8 p.m. And please feel free to join our Rise and Thrive Together community Facebook group. That's an opportunity where we get more about what we do here. We drop in some live videos, we drop in some great conversations, some tidbits, and we get to really interact together. So follow us on our Rise and Thrive Together community group that's private, so we can let you in on our Facebook group and our Instagram and on our YouTube channel. We make it real easy. Rise and Thrive Together. It's real easy, including our website at riseandthrivetogether.com. And with all of that that's here, I am so stoked to get going with my sister and talk about a brand new year. We are brand new day, brand new blank pages, 12 blank pages or maybe more with 365, 66 days this year to write. So 366 pages to write in or more. Um, and I forgot that we got a brand new extra day this year. So sis, take us away onto this conversation.
So, super excited. As Red said, we have 366 days. If you're writing a book, you have 366 blank pages. What will you write on these pages? That was a post that I saw on Facebook today, and I absolutely loved it. And I wrote on my first page already because I did my polar plunge. I don't know which way to swing, but that's my new annual thing. So at 12 noon, I was at Atlantic City and running voluntarily into the ocean. So, what did you write on your first page of this new year?
And
That's what I want to know. Drop that in the chat.
I love that, and I'll even add if you didn't physically write it, like if you didn't have something physically to write, share something. Share, like, how did you begin your new year? Did you do something that was quite intentional that Raquel did? Like she chose to jump into the plunge of, Atlantic City and do that. Maybe you did something completely that you've always wanted to do, or you continued whatever you did. And I have to say for myself, we're going to have this conversation about New Year's resolution or New Year intentions. And I'm going to say that I was very intentional versus the resolution. So I'll start off with this fun definition of what resolution is. We've all kind of grown up with what's your New Year's resolution? What's your New Year's resolution? And we create these resolutions. Maybe you want to say it's a goal, and then down the line, something eventually was like, stops it. But before we even get to what stops it, let's talk about what does a resolution mean. And I have this definition, which it says it's a firm decision. And you know how I feel about decisions, Raquel. So a firm decision to do or not to do something. It's the quality of being determined to do something or not to do something. And it's an act of finding an answer, a solution to a conflict or a problem. That's resolution. So when you hear that, Rock, what do you think about that as like, what we've all kind of inherited of like this New Year's resolution?
Well, you already know I don't make resolutions because to me it just seems like you're resolved, and there's no full commitment when you make a resolution. The reality is this. Last year we ended with your words create your world, and they absolutely do. So if I am making a resolution that I don't make, how committed are you? See, because the bottom line
Mm.
is, are you committed to the goal that you're setting, or resolution? Let me use the word that people are familiar with. How committed are you to that resolution? Because if you're not committed at all, let me ask you this: why do you make it? It's just
Mm.
empty words. They're doing absolutely nothing for you. You're just saying it just because it sounds good. Oh, I'm going to lose weight this year. There's no commitment there. You're probably saying, well, why? It's commitment. I'm saying I'm going to lose weight. You didn't put how much weight you want to lose. You did not put a date on that. I want to lose 10 pounds by April 1st. Resolutions just say, I want to lose weight. Let's stop being, what's the word I'm looking for? Non committal to ourselves. And let's start truly making a commitment and say, I want to lose X amount of pounds by. That keeps you focused. Because as the days go by, you're like, oh my gosh, I said I wanted to lose 20 pounds. Now you may not lose 20. Suppose you lose 10 by whatever the date is. That's okay. You set your goal. You were very specific about it. You remain committed to you. Remember, this is about you. You want something, go get it. Commit to it. Don't be scared to commit. And there's another word I want to throw out there, but I'm going to let my sister go and let me hear her take on
Oh, I love it.
resolutions.
No, I love it because really what we were talking about before we got on was that third part of that definition, which is like finding an answer to a problem. So we talk about mindset here. We're talking about a lot that everything starts with our mind. And when there's a problem, right? Like there's a problem, that right away for me is like I've got to fix it. I got to solve it. And all of this stuff kind of gets in the way. And I can easily not hold myself accountable and kind of get out of the commitment area. I might be committed to finding that problem, right? And I'm going and I'm going and I'm going and I'm going. But there's that problem that's in the way. And I don't do problems. Like there are circumstances, there are situations, there are things that happen. Use your word, guys. Whatever word it is, you might say that's a problem. For me, a problem is a very limited definition. So when I
Hmm.
look at a circumstance, when I look at a situation that needs attention, if you're going to sit here and say my health, right? And I'm looking at, right now, it is in my best interest to lose 10 pounds and to lose, change my body weight and my body fat and all these things. There's nothing to fix about it. That problem is a very limited kind of mindset for me. When I see it as hey, I've got this situation, I've got the circumstance, and it is important for me to know that the outcome is going to be in the best interest for my health, mind, body, and soul, then it gives me expanded like possibilities. So why I like to use the word intention, it's making a deliberate choice to reflect what is important to me. Now, what I don't like about decision,
Hmm.
guys, that word decision, look at the word decide, IDE. IDE in definition means to cut off. Pesticide, homicide, suicide, genocide, all cuts off, death, killing. So when the resolution in every definition talks about a decision, and then all of a sudden intention is a deliberate choice. Choice is opening up to unlimited possibilities, things that I don't even know about, things that I'm not even aware about, that I get to be in community and be in communication with others that take away the blinders for me and I get to then explore more and more options. I get more and more grounded into that commitment about my health or whatever that is. So, and it reflects because that's important to me. And that holds me then accountable to that. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Makes sense. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, what we're saying to you is if you use the word resolution, choose, choice, goal, vision, make sure you're committed to it. That's the main thing is the commitment because you are making this commitment to you. Are you going to honor that commitment? And like I said, there are times you may set a goal or have a vision and you don't accomplish it. What does that mean? All it means is, hey, I set this, I worked towards it, didn't accomplish it. Then the next follow up question is, well, why not? And then it branches off. It could be, well, why didn't I? Was it really, really important to me to do this? Or that I just set this goal as a just as a goal? We have to be if it's one thing I'm working on, let me say I'm working on is commitment and courage.
Mm.
This year, the word for me is courage. Now you're wondering why courage? Because there's some things that I'm going to do this year. Notice I didn't say I want to. I'm going to do this year, and I know it's going to take courage to do it. And along with courage, it's going to take commitment. Sis, what is it that you want to do this year
Mm.
that it's going to take courage and commitment? And
Um,
audience, I want you guys to put in the chat. What is it you want to do this year that it's going to take courage and commitment?
Before I answer that, Susan Schaefer wrote something really powerful. She said, Raquel, resolved means firmly determined, as in commitment. And then we start, and then we add some SMART goals. Those little, like, I forgot what SMART goals, like what SMART stands for again.
Hmm, hmm.
So what do you say about that? Is that still like jive with you? Because we're talking about resolve and commit and determination.
I just don't use the word resolution.
Yeah.
Resolution to me, Susan, to me means I'm resolved about something. I get your definition, but for Raquel Amory Stewart,
Ooh,
resolutions don't work. Okay. But thank you for your comment. For me, doesn't work.
yeah,
Resolutions are kind of like namby pamby, unless you are committed to it.
yeah,
You are going to identify and be specific in what you want and when you want it by. But if you're just saying, I want to lose weight, there's no commitment. And my whole point of behind that was the commitment part.
yeah.
That's important.
And the courage part,
Now,
which I
sis,
love.
what is it that you were working on this year
Yeah.
that is going to take courage and commitment?
So I will, like there's the stomach when she said, I said it at the end of the year and it is happening. The courage that I'm having to take into my commitment of having the songs that I've written and that I'm looking at to expand and have that album I Am Home out by the end of this year. And what that looks like is having which I mean, amazing guys. Let me tell you, this was like, has been rocking my soul. When she says commitment, it keeps me up at night. Like my heart starts fluttering and I start thinking of the songs. I start listening to them. I'm having Kirill, and Raquel look at my old YouTube channel. Those songs were coming on today. Kirill had a circumstance. It didn't work out. They'll be up next week. You'll hear it. It's on there. Now,
Mm.
is it is it the way I want it to be? No. It is exactly what is I say is going to be. Those songs are out and then they're going to be upgraded, expanded into this year's courage and new, who knows, the magic of who I am of this year. But I found somebody, Raquel. I found this amazing person named Aja Valdez. People look him up. He's an incredible singer, original singer, songwriter, and musician. He was sitting in my house, like in my house, while my husband was working on the covers of his albums. And there he was, and like having me listen to the beats, and he's having me listen, what do I think and what do I hear as he's dropping his songs coming up this February and going further. And I it just hit me. Like it was like everything that you and I have discussed and that I committed and I said, I'm like, he's right there. And I asked him, guys, I took the courage. Do you know how much my head was like quietly like, shh, don't say nothing. Be quiet, be quiet, you know, be quiet, don't say anything. And it took courage. My husband looked at me like, what? And I just stopped everything, everything. And I was like, Aja, I know we're working on your music, but guess what? And I just told him everything. I had these songs. He's like, done. He's like, right after the holidays, meaning after today, he's coming to our house tomorrow to fix our thermostat. He's also our electrician and air conditioning guy, And he's like, let's pick a date. Come with me. My guy, Michael, we're going to be in the studio all day. We're going to pick a song. We're going to play. Like, I was like, I felt nauseous, guys. Like, I felt nauseous. Like, because that's the ego. That's the little, that's the fear, right? That's going to stop me and have me honor. But I am so in this community, so got the support of Raquel, so got the support of Susan Schaefer, so got the support of so many other people on here. It's time for my voice to be, heard in a whole other different way. There's parts of you guys, that you guys don't get to see about me. And that's going to take courage. Take courage each time because circumstances are going to happen. Raquel and I got a lot of things doing together and separately. And I know this is going to lead right into what I want to say, time, which is always like from last week to this week, it's already a week later. So how am I going to have the time to get it done? Right? It's going to be done because I have tips and tools and techniques to have everything put in its place. And when it doesn't get done, it gets moved in. And I also surround myself with people who are like, where are you at? What's up? Like, where's it going? And it's I'm not letting 13 years go by anymore. It's saying that makes me hot and sweaty. I want it. I'm going to New York this weekend to meet with my other girlfriend who's going to write with me. Like, it's happening. It's happening.
That's awesome.
And I say by the end of the year, because I'm clear, like mastered and all of that. And I am open to all the magic and all the miracles of everything that could be June. But based on what I know at this moment, like I'm really not going to shove all it definitely before the end of 2024. The songs will be mastered, done, released, and out there. And I will keep you updated because it could be way before then. Yay.
And all of that took courage to open your mouth to talk to this man.
I didn't want.
So, is anyone putting in the chat what it is that they want to do this year that's going to take courage and commitment? Now, you mentioned an interesting word, time. What does time mean to you? I'm curious.
To me? Are you asking the audience?
Yes, ma'am. I'm asking you, I'm asking the audience, but since you're here and, with me, what does time mean to you?
Oh, man. Right now, at this moment, as I'm looking in the corner, it occurs to me as so limited, right? Like that's the straight up, ego side of me, like limited, like crunched, right? We got 19 minutes. It ends at 8:30, what can we shove in there? So it feels like this occurrence of shoving stuff in this limited amount.
Okay.
She laughed. And so give me your brilliance, my love. Drop it for me.
No, 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 no. Mine is time is something that is measured. Time
Yep.
is something that allows the space and opportunity for change. Time is something that allows us to reflect on the past while creating and building for our future. To me, that's how I see time. How I spend my time. You show me a person's um, calendar, their checkbook, anything like that. And guess what? I'll tell you what you value because I'll tell you where you're
Yeah,
spending your time. And you won't think you are. You're like, no, but I do and I do. Look at your calendar. Is everything on your calendar? I'll give you guys a brief example. My little sister was visiting me prior to the Christmas holiday, and she went through my planner. I still go old school. And this year, my goal is to be old school and at the same time, meaning having in my written planner with my mechanical pencil that I use. Also, to put my calendar in my phone. I want it in both places. Anyway, she's looking through my old school planner and she said, I notice I leave on Saturday and then you have Sundays to relax. Is that because I'm wearing you out? And I'm like, no, because if I don't put relax on my calendar, I won't. If it's not on my calendar, that means to me it's not important. And this year, self care is extremely important to me. And so I need to have it on my calendar. I put everything else. I put meetings that I have, workouts, whatever it is that's important to me is on that calendar. And guess what? I'm important to me. So I will take time to self care, soul care, self love, whatever you want to call it. That's important to me. That time that I spend with me and how I spend that time. That's important. What are your thoughts, sis?
I love it. I absolutely, absolutely love that because, Susan Shaver just wrote up, right? She's like, it's time to invent a possibility, on time. Do you remember this? If you want to know what a person is really committed to, look at what you spend your time and money on, is exactly what you said, right? Open that up. You want to know about what people really are committed to and how they spend their time, look at their checkbook, look at their calendar. And you know, what I was writing back to Susan before, you asked me was exactly that. What I love about this show is it's real talk, right? So at that moment when my sister asked me that question, that's how it occurred to me. It was that limiting belief. It felt like that crunch. It felt like at that moment. But being inside a community, by being in conversation, being open to a conversation like that, she shifted that. That's why it was like I felt it. I I am aware, consciously aware that it is a limiting belief and I'm not committed to that. And that's why I said, drop it on me, sis, right? And you dropped it on me. And like that, it was like, because I'm an open person and I'm committed to the show, I'm committed to growing and developing and not staying in those limiting beliefs and having that stuff. That is a waste of energy and time to stay there. I mean,
Mm,
move it like that. That shifted so much. And then Susan posted that. And now I'm like, wow, I have this whole,
mm,
I am right now here in this moment, like creating everything and open to every single thing. Like, I'm like, now I'm interested in myself going, what am I putting in my planner? Right. Like, I know it's in my planner that I'm committed to, but I'm like, what else am I committed to? What else am I interested in spending my time? Who am I spending? And I love your money one. I am so taking that on for this year, being very intentional, deliberate, really deliberate, and reflecting on the choices I'm making about my money. Because I did notice last year
mm-hmm,
a lot of money. I was like, this, and this. That just was so, I'm like, no regrets, right? It was what it was. But I can see that that money could have been moved and used in a much more intentional way to have my record move forward, right? Because that is going to cost stuff. So things like, Starbucks here, a Dunkin' Donuts there, all of that, you know,
mm-hmm.
sure, it's a choice. But like what really matters to me is what you and I are up to in August and this album. So I can be making my coffee in the morning and taking it with me.
Right,
That adds up.
right, right.
That adds up. I love it. So thank you for sharing that
So,
space around time. I feel much lighter.
oh, listen, we all have a tendency, we all have a tendency to say, oh my gosh, life is so short. And when people say that, I find it interesting because I'm like, well, then what are you doing with your life? If it's so short, if life is so short, what are you doing with your life? Are you doing the things that you want to do? And I run into tons of people. I know tons of people. I'm always talking, connecting, networking, what have you. And everyone says the same thing, life is so short. And when I ask, well, what are you doing with your life? They're like, well, yeah, okay. You just made your life a little shorter by stalling and saying, what are you doing? See, when you're committed to you don't have time for the wishy-washy. I saw something on Facebook, a post about vibrating people out of your life this year. People were talking about it to do it in 2024. Yeah, I've done that in 2023 because I understand life is short. But what are you doing with your time? See, don't focus on life being short. What am I doing with my time? How am I spending my time? Who am I spending my time with? And what am I spending my time doing? That's the real question. How committed are you to make sure that your time is valuable and you're using it wisely? And I'm not saying every single minute. Please don't go to the extreme. We're not talking about every single minute has to be occupied. But are you doing something? Or does your to-do list just keep getting longer and longer and longer because you're not really good at time management? I know I'm not the greatest at time management, but you better believe if I goof off, I'm going to focus on one thing on my to-do list and get that done. One thing. You notice, and my to-do list has tons of things. If I can get one thing, that's the one thing that was really important. The other things may not be as important. And again, that's me. It's time now for you to look at your to-do list. And is everything on there super important that has to get done in one day?
Mm.
Or can you spend your time on the one thing that really needs to get done? And only you can decide what that is. But for this year, as I said, mine is courage and commitment. Those are my words to focus on this year. And I have my accountability people on this show with me right here. And she's going to hold me to that. Courage and commitment. What are you holding yourself to, audience, this year in 2024? I was really putting that in the chat. And my question is, how
Mm.
come? I'm
Mm.
challenging you. Sorry, sis. What do you want to say in the few minutes that
Well,
we have left here on our
I
first
think
show
it's
of 20?
perfect.
So
I
excited.
think it is. I mean, she's Susan wrote contribution, right? She's her word for this year is contribution. Being a
Absolutely.
contribution. And I know that it's going to take her courage and commitment because she has an incredible program and incredible conversations about people leaving their legacy and going through those difficult conversations with people so that when it's their time to pass on, right? They can have it the way they want to. Um,
Absolutely.
so that's awesome. And so you asked me, like, what do I want to say? Is it's quiet. Like you said, it's a little quiet out here, right? And that's okay. We love having you listening. And you can write your comments after the show or replay. So just in case you're struggling or you like need a little support, Raquel, myself, and our dear friend Patrick are starting Powerfully 2024. We are leaping into this new year. You have one extra day with it. What are you going to do with it? We have an incredible webinar that is happening on Saturday, January 27th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And easy to register is riseandthrivetogether.com/webinar. But this year we're doing something so different and so special. We are having you to have the opportunity to choose your price. There are 3 prices. You get to go on there and you choose your price. Not because of anything to do with whatever your conversation is about money, because that's your conversation, but it's an opportunity. to have you be committed to have this conversation and the areas in your life happen now. And so choose that one, because no matter what price you choose, you are going to get the 100% value of Raquel, myself, and Patrick. So we hope to see you on that webinar.
You know why you're going to get 100% of us? Because we are what? Committed.
Committed.
We are committed to you and seeing you have the life that you want to live. Not by our standards, but by yours. It's your life. Okay. Remember, guys, it was such a pleasure. I'm so excited for this new year. If you cannot tell already, I'm already looking forward to what am I going to write on my blank page tomorrow because I get 366 days and I'm going to have fun with all of them. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, together we can rise and thrive. Till next time.